Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla. Welcome back to another episode of Walks with Schla. I'm continuing to feel fairly good, so I'm not overly concerned about the illness because it's just like I don't know, I'm feeling good. My nose is still congested, obviously. It still don't really feel right and my voice don't sound right, and that's kind of sad. But besides that, I'm actually feeling quite a bit better than yesterday. So I think even at the same time as yesterday, actually I guess it'll be after the walk that we'll know. I don't remember exactly, but maybe it was after the walk that yeah, so we'll see. But so far, at least, feeling good, ready to push it. And yeah, I don't know, I guess what I was just thinking about is kind of how upsetting it is how many conversations I have with people and how many things that I've told others that were really important. I've probably even remembered some things that other people have said that they themselves don't even remember. Situations where I obviously just cared more, but obviously a majority of the time it ends up being me who is caring more than the other person, and that's just not very fair. And it's very frustrating how in retrospect I've essentially wasted so much time talking to people when I should have been recording what I'm saying as content. I mean, sometimes for these episodes, it's a little bit forced, like these episodes are very routine. So in terms of how good the content or the quality is, it's not always that great. I'm going to be completely honest. And that's only because it's very regimented. So, happens to be very consistently that I happen to be driving or I happen to record. And because it's so regimented, I guess that has some good to it. But at the same time, I feel like some of the best or most interesting conversations or things to listen to that I've had have actually been to other people, because it typically comes up in conversation, and I don't know, for some reason, maybe there's a certain spontaneity to that. Maybe I'm just more built for that and a lot of people aren't. Not exactly sure what the reason could be, but yeah, this is just what I've been thinking about. Random thought I want to get out of the way. The microphone, probably not going to be here for a while, but I want to say it should be here within a week, but I don't think it's going to be that fast, but I guess time will tell. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, it's very, I guess, heartbreaking for me, or sombering, that there's so much. I'm not even thinking about all of them. Like, now that I'm actually sitting down, or in this case walking, and I just had to say, and now that I'm actually sitting down and really constructively thinking about it a little bit deeper, I'm realizing it transcends so much more than just significant conversations I've had with people. This is like conversations I've had and they've been over a call or something, and I just don't have access to them, and the person who did them likely also does not have access to them because they forgot, and you only have a person's memory. That's all you got. So yeah, there's not much else to that, is there? Yeah, it's kind of tricky. I'm just realizing now we're probably going to have to completely change up the way we do the exports for my videos, I guess starting next week, because there's no reason to change it up now. But I would do the save as export right after recording, because right after recording, if you do it, it is chronological, much better. But we're not going to be able to do that with the walks. Actually, no, I probably still should, just for record's sake. Honestly, it's like pretty sentimental, so probably will still continue to do that. It's just going to be a little trickier with the walk switch law, kind of figuring out where goes what, because the walk switch law, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I guess the walk switch law could end up being like that as well. I could see myself doing the walk switch law in that way. I probably should. Honestly, probably should. But again, I'm not really going to switch over to the new format until I get the microphone, which will probably be, I'm estimating, late next week. That is my estimate for when the microphone will arrive. But who knows? Guess we just have to wait and see. But yeah, it's tragic. It's really tragic, and I don't know if it's just because of my appreciation for the art of a conversation, or how I've really put in effort to converse with people and to know that they just kind of grabbed it in the moment and then they don't really care now. I have to have talked about this before, how upsetting it is to me the way humans are. It's, we want something so bad, and then once you have it, you basically immediately don't care about it anymore and just want something else. And this evil symptom has been exacerbated by modern society, where it's like now, a TikTok is basically that, but cranked up as much as possible. It's that vibe, it's that energy, but cranked up to the extreme human limit, where now it's like, you need boredom quenching, and you just swipe through tons of videos until one happens to get your fancy, and then it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I really don't know why people don't think about this stuff more. And it's very frustrating for me, because I know that's how people and humans in general, they operate very zoomed in. So they see temporary things as paramount, whatever's happening to them in the moment. If they're hungry, that's important. They need to eat, and they'll complain, and they'll be really grumpy about being hungry. They'll get nasty. They'll get angry, and then once they eat, they don't really appreciate. There's the feeling is not really there at all to the same intensity. I think they eat, and then that's it. I don't know that a lot of people are even that grateful to be fed nowadays, or they're not very conscious of it or cognizant of it, right? And that, I think, is a pretty good point, because really it should be the other way around. You shouldn't really let it get into your head so much that you're hungry and let that consume you. You should focus more on the feeling afterwards, the gratitude of being full. And I think same would go with when you have a conversation with a person. It shouldn't matter as much the present. It actually matters more the before and after, especially the care and the memory that it happened. But I can clearly observe with people that I interact with that that's just not how they operate. It's very obvious. It's just like how I'm describing, where people just, it's one thing and then it's the next thing. You know, they're hungry, they eat, then they don't care. Then now they need to do something else to feel better about themselves and to quench their boredom, you know. And it's just this constant cycle, and it doesn't lead these people to any type of real happiness. Of course it doesn't. It's an incredibly shallow existence. And it's selfish too. I mean, it's selfish, it's egoic. I don't know if egoic, no, I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. And so, like I said, I guess the core of it is gratitude and a comprehension of gratitude. And there's just no way to even have gratitude in such a busy world. So you have a bunch of grumblers grumbling around, complaining about things, and just, I don't even know what, just like completely void of anything. And so, yeah. And even when there are nice moments, like I said, of course, you can't just expect a person to stop what they're doing and have a conversation. They have to also be playing a video game while talking to you at the same time. Like, they have to be doing a million different things at once. Of course, it's just not good enough to actually feel the moment and properly traverse a conversation. It's really sad. I mean, I don't know. Like right now, I guess I am walking, so I guess that doesn't really count. Same with car rides with Schla, but there's been plenty of times I could just record sitting down doing nothing and just talk. And I mean, what does that say about me? Does it just say that my attention span is longer than most people? I don't know. I guess that is what it reveals. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is where I'm at right now, and what I kind of want to document is that feeling of how many moments others lose and forget. I think when it comes to my family and grandparents and stuff, you know, as a kid, I guess I just assumed everybody else felt similarly and had the same level of significance to things, but it doesn't appear to be the case. And I don't think it's from people having any malicious intent. I just think a lot of people's brains are not functioning adequately, and it probably has to do with inadequate nutrition, I'd really imagine. And that's kind of why, since I have been healthier, it's made a lot of these gaps between me and others even wider, and it's even more disorienting to traverse it. Yeah, I'm actually doing quite well. I'm walking pretty fast, and I'm still feeling pretty good. So I guess we'll find out, or you'll find out potentially, if I feel like reporting on it in the next Walk Switch Law. You know, at this point, it's kind of interesting to think about what I would do if I didn't have a job right now, or if I got fired or lost my job. How long would I do this for? Because right now it's segmented and short, because there just isn't, I don't have enough time to just keep talking and talking and talking. But I wonder how much longer and how much more things I would record if it wasn't for the segmentation of the job, or the segmentation of the occupation. It's pretty interesting to think about, because I didn't work for a while, but I was pouring all my energy into friends, into relationships, into family, and so I don't have much to show for that, because it was all private life. But this is public, or it's potentially private. Of course, it's up to me whether or not I'm going to upload it, but I mean, I'm probably going to upload it. It's not like, you know, but it's technically public. It's recording. It's something. But yeah, it's still a shame there's lost content, but what do I always say with these sort of things? You have to believe in some kind of divine fate, or that at least I think there's some kind of divine calculation to things. And so I guess you have to hope for that and hope a lot of these people will have justice in the afterlife. But it still leads me to wonder why God does not just rein them in now. I guess I'd have to potentially ask GPT about Christian philosophy, because I guess I just don't really know the answer. I don't think anything happened, but I did accidentally press the camera button on the, because this is an iPhone 16 Pro, and let me just do a quick tangent on that. I don't like it. I don't think I've ever used it. I'm not really a fan of it, and yeah, I wish they just didn't put it there. It used to be an extra antenna band opening. I think I would much rather it just be an extra antenna band opening, because I care a lot about reception, and I don't like it. I've hit it accidentally more than intentionally. And I guess I do like having an extra button, because extra buttons are always nice, but it's not customizable. It should basically just be completely customizable like the other button. Although that's another thing I can talk about. I don't even like the other button. Like, I honestly loved the silence switch, but I understand why they made the decision. I think for most people, that button being there makes a lot more sense than the silence switch, but I just don't like it. I really liked that silence switch. It always had a really nice click, and I would actually click it a lot on my phones. So I really miss it, and I would easily have it back in a heartbeat. I kind of looked over the different options for that button, what you could customize it to or change it to, but didn't really see anything too striking. I probably should at some point, but here we are. It is what it is, and yeah. But it's a shame. I'd easily just have the switch back, because that unsilent switch was so satisfying for me to click back and forth. Oh my gosh, I love doing it, and I still love doing it on my 14 Plus and 13 Mini. I think it could be another reason. I'd have to double check, but I believe the 14 Pro Max and stainless steel, that special stainless steel I like, probably has it. So I'd probably love to switch that back and forth, because it's going to be steel. Because I was potentially thinking of buying that, but I don't really need it. That's just like getting to be crazy at that point if I got that, but whatever. I might, because at this point it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm saving, but I don't really like it. I kind of want some kind of a extra thing to care about or focus on. And yeah. But hey, for the time being, I am still using the 16 Pro Max, which has quite a bit of heft to it. And I'm pretty excited for the 13 Mini, because I know that is substantially smaller, so it's easier to hold and lighter. I guess I could switch to the 13 Mini now. It's just that we know that the 16 Pro Max's microphones, at least on paper, should be pretty noticeably better. So I don't know. I think it's worth it to just use the 16 Pro Max in the meantime. I don't know that I think I did mention it on Car Rides, which saw a long time ago, but I'll just re-mention it now, just because it's on my mind now. I almost would have rather just had the 16 Pro in retrospect, because it's a little bit more compact, and I kind of think that's better as what this phone is going to become eventually. Because if I got the that would probably become my primary phone, or even a 17 Pro Max that would probably become my primary phone, but this phone will still have a ton of use, even unactivated, because it's 1 terabyte, it's got a pretty good camera, and it's got the studio microphone. So for quick recordings, this one's still going to be great. It's just that because I got the Pro Max, it's a little bit clunkier than it really needs to be. So I don't know, it is what it is, but I think in retrospect, the smaller one would have made more sense. But again, I mean, it's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen of the other. I don't really know how much it really matters, but even when it is 6 to 1, half dozen of the other, in some people's eyes, I like to make sure, because some people, I think a lot of people, they incorrectly think that certain things matter when they don't, and then vice versa. I think a lot of people think that some things matter when in reality they don't. And I guess, how do you square that? You know? Because you get in so many arguments with people because they have bad or incorrect perspectives on things. I think perspective is the right adjective, because, I mean, you could say opinion, but it's like, I don't really know that that's really an accurate way to describe it, because it's not really like an opinion. That's not really the... Because basically what I mean is there has to be a word to describe something that it like should be an opinion. It shouldn't be an opinion, but a person has a subjective perspective on it, if that makes any sense. It's something that is a fact, but a person just believes it to be incorrect. I wonder if there's a word for that. Maybe I should ask GPT, but that's why I think perspective is a little bit more accurate than opinion, because I don't even think somebody should have the credit of it being an opinion if it's not. Like, if they're just wrong, they're wrong. It's not your opinion. Certain things it's fine, but a lot of things there is a fact, right or wrong. And that's a pet peeve of mine, because so many people end up trying to use that argument about how, oh, well, everybody has different opinions, and what I think is fine and what you think is fine. Like, no, there's a lot of times it is a right or wrong. But anyway, we're over time, and it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see you schla.